Hello friends and welcome. Today is the 8th day of the month, and so we are going to delve into Proverbs, the 8th chapter, the 11th and the 12th verse. And basically it talks about wisdom. It talks about wisdom bringing us into better places and wisdom guiding us throughout our lives. And so I just want to share a few bullet points with you, a few jewels and pearls of wisdom with you so that you can hopefully put them in your heart and apply them to your life. So again, Proverbs 8, 11, and 12, it talks about wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is having knowledge and having understanding, but it's also having insight and knowing what to do, when to do it. How beneficial would that be for you if you had wisdom when it came to business and business deals? That would be very beneficial because it would put you in a place to succeed. How would wisdom work for you in when it comes to a relationship, a personal relationship, or even a friendship? That would be beneficial for you because it would put you in a place to have that relationship succeed, whether it's with a spouse, with another adult, with a child, with your child, whether it's even with other family members. Having wisdom on how to deal with not just the individual, but the situations that you find yourselves in, knowing what to do and when to do it, and even how to do it, is what is bottled up and wrapped up in wisdom. The scripture talks about how valuable wisdom is. Let's break this down. Wisdom, it says, is more valuable than a precious jewel that you could think of. So women love diamonds. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. Jewels like rubies and emeralds and even sapphires and even black diamonds, whatever it is. The scripture talks about wisdom being so much more than that. Wisdom is more precious than jewels. And you know how women love jewels. Oh, a string of pearls, that saltwater pearls. Wisdom being more beneficial than that. Wisdom, unlike jewelry, because we love jewelry and how it's set, and some jewelry, let's back up and listen to this. Some jewelry has sentimental value. It's not just the dollar amount, but some jewelry has value because it's passed down from generation to generation. Because a great grandmother had it, or if you have royalty in your family, and many people do, and some people just don't know, but many do. You have royalty in your family, and some of those jewels are passed down from generation to generation. Imagine even Queen Elizabeth passing down the jewels that she has, the crown, the jewelry that she has in her crowns, the diamonds and the emeralds and the rubies and the sapphires, and then even just how it's laid and displayed. And because it has so much history attached to it, therein lies another level of value. I'm trying to get you to understand that jewelry and jewels and stones, precious stones that you can find, and even the value of the sentiment that they have when they're passed down, not just the price tag, but also the sentiment adds value to it. Wisdom is pricier than that. So wisdom, to me, if it's carrying that much weight, it must mean we need to figure out what wisdom is, how do I apply it, how do I walk in it, and how do I make sure my life revolves around a place of wisdom? I'm glad you asked. I was thinking the same thing. I want to read to you from the Message Bible, the translation from the Message Bible. But let me say this too before I read that. It says that wisdom moves carefully and with discretion, and each step is well thought out. There is a place that we can get to where we're not over anxious, where we're not putting the cart before the horse, where we're not throwing ourselves into situations that we're not necessarily shouldn't be in, but maybe not moving too fast or moving too slow. Wisdom gives us the insight on how to handle those situations. Now, the Message Bible translation says that wisdom is better than the trappings of wealth. I never looked at wealth with trappings, but obviously the Bible talks about wealth bringing the trappings. There are things that that just because you're wealthy, and I know I've heard wealthy people say this, and I guess you only have to be wealthy to kind of have this perspective, but there are things that wealthy people have to think about, endure, and walk through and manage that you don't really think about when you're on the other side, look, and you have lack and you're trying to figure out how to, make ends meet. But there are different hurdles that wealthy people, not just rich, but wealthy people have to deal with that we're just not privy to. So the scripture says, and this is the different translation, the Message Bible translation, and it says that wisdom is better than the trappings of wealth. Nothing that you could wish for can hold a candle to wisdom. Wisdom is connecting sanity, knowledge, and discretion. Very interesting. Sanity, knowledge, and discretion. To be sane, to really understand what you're focusing on, to have a good foundation mentally and emotionally. Wisdom carries that. Having knowledge, just getting understanding of what situation you're talking about and you're dealing with, wisdom carries that. And discretion, it gives you the temperament on how to really exist in a space. Wisdom carries all that. So here is your pearl of wisdom, and I want you to take these and just really think about them. How do you get wisdom? I am glad you asked, because we talked about what wisdom is, what wisdom isn't. But how do you get wisdom? Well, one way you get wisdom is by praying and asking God for it, for God to open up your heart and your spirit and your mind and give you wisdom on the situation that you're dealing with, on the relationship that you're dealing with, on the interaction or the business deal that you're dealing with. God, give me wisdom on how to handle this. I don't know everything, but give me wisdom and maybe allow me to see the things that I'm not able to see at this point. The second way to get wisdom is by reading the word. We are going through the book of Proverbs, each chapter for each day. We're pulling out a verse from that chapter, but Proverbs is known as the book of wisdom. Now, all 66 books, including Proverbs, has wisdom in it, and don't doubt that. But the book of Proverbs just really breaks things down and gives you understanding on how to relate to one another, how to do business dealings, how to handle your relationships and things of that nature. The book of Proverbs, there are just gems of wisdom that are in that book. And if you have not read it and if you are not reading it, I encourage you to do that. Maybe read a chapter or a verse out of a chapter for each day. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. And so you could read a verse out of each chapter each day, just like we're doing today. Today is the 8th day of the month. So we're in the 8th chapter. And I just really felt like God illuminated the 11th and the 12th verses. But you know what? You could go through and read, let's see, in the 8th chapter, there are 36 verses in that chapter. So find you a verse to kind of read and to meditate and to think about and to try to ask and try to get an understanding. Ask God to illuminate that verse to you. That's just, a little tidbit. But here's another one, the third one. Seek wise counsel. What does that mean? Find people who have already been through and who are going through what you've been through. There are people who are in business, and they can give you insight on how to conduct your business, how to move forward. And you know what? And I even thought about this, even if somebody's business has not been successful, they can still give you insight on, I did A, B, C, and D, and looking back on it, that wasn't the right thing to do. You can still get wisdom, insight on situations from people who have done things successfully or not so successfully. When it comes to relationships or even marriage, you can get wisdom from people who have marriage, the longevity of marriage, and those who maybe haven't had. There's a way to get wisdom from everyone. Just be mindful when you're talking to them to really, like they say, take the meat and throw out the bones, get that information that you can from them. So I will say this in wrapping it up. And again, this is a part of your pearl of wisdom. There is help and insight for every situation, every direction, every obstacle, every phase of life. There is help and there is insight that you can get to get you through everything that you're dealing with. I encourage you to reach out for it, to ask for it, to seek wisdom in all that you do so that you're able to come out on top. in everything that you before we go, I forgot to tell you this. Be sure to share this page with a friend, subscribe to this channel, and give me a thumbs up. Like this channel and like this particular video. We'd certainly appreciate it. And thank you so much for your support. So until next time, take care and God be with you.